Alrighty, we are live. We're going to be here for a period of live hurricane coverage. As you all know, most likely, Major Hurricane Melissa has made landfall on the south shore of Jamaica as a ferocious and record-breaking Category 5 hurricane. Since then, it has actually weakened, thankfully, to a Category 4 hurricane. You can see the eye actually has started to close up here, so that's obviously great to see, but, we are just seeing unbelievable videos and photos of damage coming out from Jamaica and surrounding areas. So obviously this is a very sad situation, but hopefully I can pull up a live camera. We'll look at weather-wise and Jamaican radar. I'm trying to find. I think this might be where we can look at radar from Jamaica. Skipped content. Just trying to figure this out, guys. I don't know what that led to, but again, this is just an unbelievable hurricane that we've got on our hands. Again, this is the latest forecast point from the National Hurricane Center. Still with central pressure now of 921 millibars, which again, don't get me wrong, it's still a catastrophic hurricane. But you still have wind gusts of up to 190 miles per hour. So again, this is what your current satellite view is looking like. You can see that right now, basically the center of the storm is just moving offshore of Montego Bay and Palmouth, north of Albertown. I wonder if our cameras are working. They actually are. Okay, so our Little London Westmoreland camera is down, obviously, it got cored by the eye wall there. Gosh, dude, I think all of our cameras are down. Yep. That means that we had significant power failure. Oh my gosh. I'm sure our Kingston camera is down. This is the only hope we have. Yep. Alright, so every single camera out here is currently down. That is not a surprise at all, but that means that obviously the radius of hurricane force winds is likely very large. So I'd say anywhere in the inner core is where we're going to be talking about, again, the chance to see hurricane force wind gusts. But she's now on her approach to making a second landfall in Cuba here. We're talking about southern Cuba, so Santiago de Cuba, Nequero, San Ramon, Manzanillo, Bamo, all the way up towards Baines. Again, these are the areas that we're going to be watching out for a second landfall. Let me plug in my microphone. Let me know if you guys can hear me. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna pull up stream chat. If anyone has any questions about their location, feel free to let me know. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hoping to get a couple of Caribbean viewers. I guess just, again, just an absolutely, unfortunate situation here. So yeah. What's up, PVC fan? It's been a while since I've been in your live streams. Alright, great. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also, please consider donating to the PayPal. I'm really trying to raise enough money to go to the National Storm Chasers Summit, which is going to be taking place in February, and so I'm in kind of a rush to raise enough money for that, so that'd be really appreciated. I'll link my PayPal account in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna try to find a couple of cameras here. We should be able to find one. Again, there's just so many. Okay. Okay, Kingston Harbor is actually not down, which is interesting here. So that is on the. This is really on the very end of the, very edge of the outer core here. So this is the current view from Kingston Harbor. Again, you can see still just getting rocked there by those gusty winds. That is unbelievable. Really intense stuff there. I mean, look at those waves too. So that's the current look in Kingston Harbor. Again, that is all the way down here in southeastern Jamaica. If we could find a Montego Bay cam, that would be awesome. Oh my gosh. Crazy stuff. So, this is the Spanish Town flat bridge. This was what it was looking like last night. You can see they finally started getting some rain and some wind as we got into really the middle of the night, and you could see how much water was starting to pile up on there. And you can see just as we go farther into the stream, again, look at that, you start to get some debris, and at this point the concrete bridge is taken over by water, and it's only a matter of time again until this is completely taken up. Look at this time lapse. You can see, eventually you'll see how fast the water rises. Again, this is before the hurricane gets there. There are adventurers out there. That's dangerous. Alright, it's gonna take a while. But, if we look, again, yeah, look at that, dude. Just goes from a little stream to a raging river. And there are homes out here. I don't know what these two structures are, but there are homes on the edge of this river. That water's not supposed to be there. If you go back to the beginning of the stream, that is not there. I mean, it's just incredible what happened. Again, at this point, is now a raging river of water. Yeah, again, I don't really know what this little structure is. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a home, but there's a really good chance that we won't be seeing that tomorrow morning. So this camera's out, as in the likes of many. So, not a huge surprise. What's up, Lucy? And Pete. Good to see you guys. Yeah, so I mean that's the current situation right now. Again, the eye has officially closed up, which usually is a good indicator of rapid weakening. However, I don't expect it to dip below Category 4 status. Now that would be wonderful, I guess. Again, for Cuba, because that would obviously just lower the winds. But I think the rain is not necessarily going to change as far as the impact goes. So, again, if you are tuning in from one of these areas, this is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Again, maximum sustained winds are still at 145 miles per hour, which is only 15 miles per hour off of a Category 5. So, still a catastrophic hurricane. And she's starting to pick up the pace at 8 miles per hour, which is still really slow. But for this storm, considering that was pretty much stalled out for like a couple days, that's pretty fast, okay? So, that is the latest, but this is the rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. They're still going for isolated areas up to 16 inches or higher on top of what we have now. Again, it's already raining out here in Cuba. You're already starting to get likely tropical storm force winds. You can see these outer bands are already starting to lash the coastline. This is your outer core. This is where you're gonna get the big winds. Okay. But yeah, the eye is closed up now, so that's a great sign. Again, make sure if you haven't already that you hit the like and subscribe button. Also, please consider leaving a donation. Trying to get the fund to the National Storm Chaser Summit in order here. Again, you guys have been very generous over the past couple of months, really weeks, but again, just trying to get this last push of donations in. Alright, let's try to find more cameras here. Again, everything is down because, obviously, because the winds were just so strong that they took out all the power lines. Okay, this is a camera that a lot of people were looking at earlier today. This is in Kingston, which I believe is in the southeastern Jamaica. There are cars out and about here. I mean, the streets are relatively empty. It doesn't look like the damage is too bad down here. I mean, it's pretty grainy quality, but for the most part, it looks like, you know, just some scattered debris. Very wet, obviously. But I think the flooding was probably the biggest impact here. Again, still widespread power outages, but it really does not look like the wind was too bad. I just realized this is way behind. This is actually 2 hours behind. That's interesting that some of these cameras are actually, they're running like hours behind, which is, again, a little weird. I don't know why that would be happening, other than just the fact that we have a major hurricane on the island, but yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put this in motion here so I can get something going. Alright, let me just pull up something real quick, and then we'll get right back to the coverage. Okay, there we go. Let's pin that message there. Alright, so yeah, the latest satellite loop again, we officially have the center of circulation from Melissa offshore at this point. Just a insane 24 hours here. Hey, thank you so much, Michael Reagan. I believe that's Alan, actually, for the $15 donation. Let's get a W, Alan, in the chat. That's wonderful. But I really appreciate the support. Alright, so back to finding cameras here. Again, we're looking for a camera somewhere on the northern coastline here, so anywhere near Montego Bay, Palmouth, I don't know how you guys pronounce that. Portmore, I don't know where Portmore is. Okay, there's one over here. If this is up, that would be awesome. Please tell me this is going. Oh no, or maybe. there's a 54-second video that's probably from like a week ago. That does not do me any help. Thank you so much, Alan. Really appreciate it. Again, spam those W Allens in the chat. Well, that didn't work. Let's see if I can find another. Okay, this one says North Shore on it, so it's gotta be... I mean, it looks promising. Gosh. Oh, it is working. Sweet. Dude, that is awesome. Alright. So, this is, somewhere on the North Shore, Leeward Settlement in the Turks and Caicos Islands, which is technically not part of Jamaica, obviously, but you can see all the way out there they are getting still some gusty winds and heavy rainfall, and looks like we could have some rough surf. So yeah. But I think now would be a good time to go over just the beauty and just like perfection that was displayed by Major Hurricane Melissa. So obviously we had multiple records broken. The driest eye ever measured in the satellite era, that record was broken, I believe it was like 5 or 6 times, separately by Major Hurricane Melissa. I think the lowest they got was like something in like it was like negative 2.75 degrees Celsius, which is again absurd. And the pressure did drop into the 982 millibar range, which I believe tied the Labor Day hurricane for the strongest landfalling hurricane on record in the Atlantic. Again, going based off of pressure, but the maximum sustained winds got up to 185 miles per hour. The gusts were well over 200 miles per hour. Again, just insane stuff. I mean, that is something that you rarely see in, you know, a good 50 years. But it just goes to show how dangerous these waters are. Again, you just need the time to be right. You need the right wave at the right time. That is exactly what happened. Again, it'll just take care of the waters from there. And I mean, that's exactly what happened. We had literally almost zero wind shear. We didn't have any dry air, at least to bother the storm. And I mean, it was just atmospheric perfection. But, I mean, notice just the beautiful symmetry on this satellite loop. Again, just a perfect eye there. I mean, that was maintained for so long, too. Again, this thing was just one of a kind. If we could get the full, like, 20 frames, that'd be great. Oh, yeah. 100 frames? That's awesome. Alright, this will be great. Just trying to make this satellite loop go in motion here so you guys can see that. Alright, here we go. So look at the difference here. This is right before the hurricane made landfall. Again, the landfall is not when the worst of the winds make it on shore. It's when the eye passes over land. If the eye of a hurricane passes over any land, it is considered to be a landfall, obviously. So it looks like Melissa made landfall somewhere around Crawford or White House, Jamaica, or actually that would be Bruce's Hill, if I'm pronouncing that right. And again, this happened, I believe it was like around 11 a.m. Eastern when this happened. But you can see again, this literally made landfall at the strongest point, and it's pretty unusual to see hurricanes strengthen all the way until landfall. Usually, once they interact with any land, that starts to tear them apart. But with this thing, I mean, it just plowed right into Jamaica, and I'm gonna be honest, even I think like by last night, we weren't really expecting it to just, full on go right into Jamaica without weakening at all, because literally half of the storm, or a good a good quarter of the storm, was over land by the time it got down into the 982 millibar, 892 millibar range. I mean, it's just crazy what happened here. But again, this thing just plowed right into Jamaica as a Category 5 hurricane. So yeah, I mean, that's just crazy stuff. But if anyone has any questions about their location, feel free to let me know. So yeah. But it's just crazy what we've been looking at over the past, couple of days, ever since we got that first, huge boom in intensification. Everything went crazy. But these are your sea surface temperatures, if anyone was wondering. So the path in which Melissa took, again, you can see the average was right around 30 degrees Celsius, which is well into the 80s as far as Fahrenheit goes. But you can see a part of where Melissa went over at the very last second. There actually were even warmer waters. We maxed out the scale here, and the crazy part about this is that this is actually the warmest body of water in the Atlantic right now, the Caribbean. This is where we're talking about, again, close to 90 degrees sea surface temperatures, which is jet fuel for hurricanes. But this, as of right now, these sea surface temperatures in the Caribbean are much warmer than what they are, what it's looking like in the Gulf. In the Gulf, we're talking about upper 70s, low 80s. In the Caribbean, we're still hanging around the upper 80s and even getting closer to 90 degrees, which allowed for, again, this record-breaking intensification. But this is a huge reason, I believe, why we saw just incredible strength. And again, you can see a perfectly stacked and symmetrical inner core. Unbelievable. What's up, Sandra? Good to see you. Again, make sure all of you hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. But it's good to see the usual crowd in here. Alright, you know what? We're just going to... I'm going to straight up look up a Palmouth, Jamaica live camera, and we'll see what we can get. Halfway tree, I'm not sure where that is actually. Oh, this has sound, that's cool. Halfway. This just says Halfway Tree Live, so it could just be that road. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, it sucks that literally every camera is down here. at least on weather-wise. Oh, this one's not. This one is still going. Very wet conditions out there. Again, that is on the very outer bands. You know, we'll pull up this one, because why not? Still got some really gusty winds, actually. So this is Halfway Tree, which I don't believe is actually a town name. I think that this is just the street. Basically what we got going on, it looks like there's could be some scattered debris out here, but again, it really looks like the wind wasn't a huge deal out here on the, again, eastern parts of Jamaica. But you can see the camera is definitely starting to shake around a little bit. I mean, there are people out and about. Look at this guy. W camera operator. Give us a little view of what's going on. Yeah, I mean, doesn't look like there's much street flooding. Very gusty winds though still. And honestly, the wind damage is very minimal. I mean, there is some stuff blowing around out here, but I don't see like many trees down. These chairs haven't got knocked down. It looks like they blew around a little bit in the wind. The worst of the wind is over, but yeah, the power's still going. They still have power out here. It really doesn't look too bad. Again, I think just because we saw such an extreme kind of west landfall, if you will, I think that kind of is the reason why so many people out here in eastern Jamaica got spared. And again, it looked like for a second we were going to see a direct landfall in eastern Jamaica, but part of why that western landfall was so good is because, again, all of these people out here on the eastern half got it off pretty easily, but you still are talking about tropical storm force winds, and the storm is actually, if you look at satellite, this is actually interesting to look at. Let me pull this up here. Let's go to tropical tidbits. You can see, notice how on the last few scans, this thing abruptly turned east. So if you notice, that actually brings the strongest or kind of biggest area of convection. It pushes it much farther east. So I do think that you could actually be talking about a period of potentially the strongest winds of the day out here in like extreme eastern and northern Jamaica. Again, if you did not see hurricane force wind gusts yet, I still think that's a possibility, again, because you can see that pink ring and the yellow ring. It's not a full pink ring, obviously, but gray ring, I should say. Again, anywhere where you see those gray or pink colors, that's where you're talking about likely your zone of hurricane force winds, or at least wind gusts. And because that extreme east turn is happening, I think that's actually going to lead to some areas receiving potentially the strongest winds that they've got all day. So yeah, I mean, that is definitely something to note there, to keep watching. So yeah, interesting stuff. So we'll monitor our satellite look here over the next couple minutes. But again, going back to our webcam here in Halfway Tree, or really Halfway Tree Road, again, you can still see some very gusty winds ongoing. Power's still on for looks like everyone down the road here. Honestly, just looks like a really wet and windy day. There's some couple of things blown around in the road, but again, lots of ponding, no flooding. There really isn't flooding. I mean, this is just obviously one webcam in one of the more less hard hit areas, but I mean, it really doesn't look too bad out here. I'm gonna be honest. It's very different in western Jamaica, so I don't want people to kind of see this as me saying like, oh yeah, it wasn't as bad. No, it was just as bad, if not worse, than what we expected, and that was in western Jamaica. This is eastern Jamaica here. So again, this is one of the areas where it kind of, we saw an avoided impact, basically. It's interesting, they actually boarded up this huge window here. So, I mean, it looks like the locals actually did, take this pretty seriously, which is good. But I think a lot of our injuries and our fatalities are going to come from Western Jamaica, whether or not it's because of just the genuinely unsurvivable conditions, or because less people were prepared properly. You can see how these cars move through. There actually seems to be a little bit of a bigger ponding developing over here on the side of the road, so I would not be shocked if we saw some instances in areas of flash flooding out here. But once again, it is much more significant in Western Jamaica. Once again, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We've got 9 people in here. Try to get the stream to 20 likes. We'll see where we can go from there. Also, please consider leaving a donation. I'm trying to fund my way to attending the National Storm Chaser Summit in February. I went last year. It was awesome, but gotta pay for all the expenses now, and obviously it's a pretty costly trip, but it's well worth it. So again, I need you guys to help me out a little bit, but I really appreciate your support over the past couple of weeks. Still whiteout conditions on our camera out here in somewhere in the North Shore of Jamaica. I'm gonna be honest, the only thing I know about that camera is that it's somewhere on the North Shore, which again is where we're seeing the worst of the impacts. Also notice, as soon as the eye got offshore and went over waters, there actually was a significant burst of convection. Now, is this me saying the storm is re-strengthening? No. It's actually weakened. It's continued to weaken over the past couple hours. But I do think that, again, this could all be a sign of some very significant... Again, this is still a Category 4 hurricane, but still some very significant wind gusts all across the North Shore of Jamaica. Anywhere from all the way out here on the East Coast to really... obviously on the West Coast. Anywhere in this ring is where we're going to be talking about still hurricane force wind gusts. I mean, it's crazy stuff. Alright, let me see. Again, just the videos of the winds and damage, just incredible. Wow. What's up, Cara Bear 395? Great job, appreciate that. Thank you so much for all the support. So yeah. Yo, Davis raid. Let's go. W Davis. I don't know if he's still alive or what. Ever. Oh my gosh, it is a Davis raid. It is confirmed. Let's go. Welcome in everyone from Davis' stream. Thank you so much, Davis, for the raid. W, mans. Again, for all of you tuning in, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also consider donating. But we're here for live hurricane coverage. This is my first hurricane coverage stream of the year, basically. We're a tiny bit late, again, just a few hours after landfall, but still some incredibly dangerous and catastrophic flooding ongoing here across Jamaica as the rain continues to come down. Still talking about, again, upwards of 150 mile per hour winds with gusts of closer to 180 and potentially up to 190 miles per hour. So this is tracking Melissa. But you can see hurricane warnings are up for now, should be all of the Bahamas soon, all the way down into, again, all of Jamaica, still eastern Cuba. You guys are up next, actually. This is going to be moving in overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, sometime around 2 a.m. Wednesday, or so tomorrow is when we're expecting a second landfall. So this is my first hurricane coverage stream. It is indeed. So yeah. But again, hopefully by the time this exits Cuba, it will weaken down to a Category 2 hurricane and no longer be a major hurricane, but it is still an incredibly dangerous Category 4. And I should probably update the pressure. Let's go back to the National Hurricane Center. I have this at 917, which I believe is from an old update. Okay, so the latest has Melissa at 921 millibars. Okay. Alright, that should be good. You missed another Alan Dona. It's crazy work. Again, appreciate all of you for tuning in. Appreciate the Dave's Parade. But make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button so we can get this stream out to as many people as possible. Again, this is still a very important stream. Gotta, make sure that we can get as many viewers from Jamaica, Cuba, anywhere really in Hispaniola and the Greater Antilles. But even into the Bahamas especially, again, these areas are all under hurricane warning still. We still have 2 more landfalls to go. So we are not close to being done with Melissa. We still have to stay with her for a little bit. Do we have any pictures of damage yet? We have lots of photos of damage. It is catastrophic. A lot of them I'm not allowed to show them on stream as far as I know. But, okay, we'll just bring up this one photo here. This has been circulating the internet for a while. This is the damage in, western Cuba. Jamaica. I keep saying Cuba for some reason, but, this is the scene out here, just insane stuff. Someone's saying that is AI generated, but there are a lot of people saying that is a real photo of the damage. So, also trying to warn you guys, a lot of what you're gonna see is that there's a lot of AI going around. A lot of people are generating AI photos and videos to get clicks and views, because what people do, they will take advantage of a situation like this where, so many people are posting photos and videos of damage, obviously, and they're gonna get lots of views. So they take advantage of the algorithm being in their favor, and they post a fake photo or video, and they get a lot of views. So all they need to do is just generate that video or photo, and then say that it's real and that it's from Jamaica, and that's pretty much how you do it. It's that easy. So, sad stuff. I do want to go back here to, where is it? I don't know if okay, this is the camera I wanted to look at. This is I forgot what bridge this is called. The camera's been down for hours now. This is the flat bridge, this is the flat bridge in Jamaica here. the Rio Cobre River in St. Catherine. This was overnight. I have this on 4x speed, but you can see how quickly the water just went up and completely swallowed the entire bridge. I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm just going in increments of like 30 minutes or so. Look at that difference. Again, that is a raging river. Boom. Once you get into sunrise and you see the first daylight, the bridge is gone. And there are likely homes not too far away from where this river is. That water is not supposed to be there. This is way too high. And look, there's lots of debris floating on the river. You're going to get debris flows in some areas. And there's even the structure I was talking about earlier. Look how close that is to the water. This structure very well could be gone. Because, again, this camera's been offline for like 3 hours. So, that's giving all this water, all that time to get even higher there. Look at that debris there. Okay, so you have wind debris that's getting kind of brought downstream, if you will. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. It's a horrible combination. It's just a catastrophic situation. So yeah. River Mama is getting attacked by this hurricane. It sure is. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we've gotten a lot of hurricane strikes out here in the past 40 years or so, but I mean, I don't know if that river usually gets super high, but I doubt it's gotten that high. I mean, potentially ever. Again, that is absurd, the amount of water that just went into that river, if you will. I mean, I don't know how else to phrase that. To tell you the truth, that bridge ain't moving, and that's not even the max high the water have passed over it. Yeah, I mean, again, the camera has been out for 3 hours now, so I would not be surprised if that little area of land, we'll pull the camera back up, so I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But I would not be surprised at all if this bit of land here with these trees and stuff. I would not be shocked if that is gone now. This structure, again, like I said earlier, it's likely not standing, and we'll probably find out by tomorrow morning. That is just crazy, though. I mean, just violent. Not really sure where the flat bridge is, but probably somewhere in western Jamaica, if I had to guess. But yeah, I mean, it is just not a good scene out there at all. Again, trying to get you guys the best information here. With what has happened over the past couple hours. Again, we're still in the midst of a absolute catastrophe. So this is the Jake's hotel, which apparently is a popular establishment. This is completely destroyed in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth.
Yo, Buffalo!
Look at that. That is just complete devastation. Also notice the flooding out there. I mean, that is completely destroyed. Look at these trees. Mangled. All credit goes to Nationwide 90 FM. That's just a glimpse of the damage. I misspelled catastrophic. Oh yeah, I did. Thank you. Tried to get on here in a rush. So it happens. Appreciate that, Andrew. One thing to remember is that there's still a lot of troops at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, which is next. Yes. Again, we are expecting that second landfall to occur in Cuba as we get into tonight, so we'll see how slow the storm moves, potentially how fast it moves, but still some very significant impacts to Cuba are expected. Again, we're likely about 8 hours or so away from that second landfall. A lot of people did like the landfall timer. I don't like that because you can get a lot of shifts in like the track, or I wouldn't say track, but you could get different like loops and turns within the hurricane that slow it down. As far as, again, the approach to an area is concerned. And that's kind of what we saw with Melissa. It looked like earlier on we were going to see an overnight landfall, but it actually happened in the late morning hours, obviously today, so. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about the flat bridge being potentially gone. Yeah, that photo of the damage we looked at earlier, that's AI. Seems inevitable. Again, as I explained earlier, in this kind of situation, there are so many people that will take advantage of it. Which is sad because, I mean, it's just for clicks. You're taking advantage of a catastrophic, life-altering, and mass casualty event and situation just to get yourself fame, clicks, views, money in some cases. I mean, it's just terrible. Alright, let's see this video here. This is from Montego Bay 3 hours ago. Watch this, guys. This is in the eye wall. These gusts are likely around 200 miles per hour. You can see just the total devastation with those trees. That first gust, again, that is insane. You're talking about whiteout conditions. So that's what people were dealing with. Yeah, it can be, AI can be very useful in a lot of ways, but, I mean, It's just really it's just terrible what people use it for. I don't know if I noticed this, but we now actually have hurricane watches up for Bermuda. We are actually expecting an impact somewhere between Thursday and Friday, likely 2 a.m. Friday. It looks like we may actually see a fourth impact that would be to Bermuda. A fourth landfall would be insane. Will it go directly over Bermuda? It's possible. Again, we are guaranteed 2 landfalls at this point, likely 3. So yeah. Yes, Bermuda is expecting a Category 1 landfall. This is a video of the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital. The entire roof was lifted off all in one. Okay, I'm an idiot for reposting that. This is Cave Valley St. Anne. This is a completely submerged house. This is a photo, so it should be okay that we pull this up on stream. Again, look at this, guys. This is the flooding that we were warning about. That is incredible. That is likely a 2-story house, completely flooded. It is completely submerged. That is what unsurvivable conditions looks like. That's another video of the winds. Look at all that destruction there. I would disagree with that phrase there, Gooey McDougal. I don't think that they got very lucky at all because, again, we just saw a direct hit from one of the top 5 strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever recorded in history. And again, it made a direct landfall in Jamaica and it caused catastrophic flooding and winds. So I wouldn't say that they got very lucky. I'd say Eastern Jamaica got very lucky. They barely saw hurricane force wind gusts, if at all. Western Jamaica, not the same story. Biotest was okay. It was, parts of it were easy, parts of it were hard, so kind of unclear on what kind of grade I got, but it wasn't like a catastrophe. We're at 19 likes. We are 1 away from the big 20 likes. So that would be awesome. They reported up to 200-mile-per-hour winds, but there were not any winds sustained over 87 miles per hour. It was powerful in the ocean, but fizzled out. It did not fizzle out at a Category 4. It made landfall as Category 5. It's a Category 4 now, but this is what it looked like on satellite at landfall. It was a 892 millibar, really 896 millibar Category 5 hurricane with sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. It did not fizzle out over the ocean, and it still hasn't fizzled out over land. It just slightly weakened due to the land interaction. But it did make landfall, bringing catastrophic winds. So, that is not factual. If you haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. try to get the stream to 30 likes potentially, and get the channel to. We're at 1533. Let's try to get it to 1540. Again, this is just eye candy right here. Unbelievable stuff. I saw a picture of a minor mudslide that was covering a road, and there are likely 10 times worth ones that are happening right now or just happened. I'm sure we're probably going to get most of the damage photos. We're probably going to get tomorrow because, again, the hurricane's still ongoing, so a lot of people are still hunkered down. But yeah, I think for sure tomorrow is going to be when we're finally going to get the first good looks at damage. So yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to stare at this. I mean, that is a perfectly symmetrical eye. That is a perfect circle right there. I just can't get over that. This is very interesting. The center of the circulation is actually starting to open up a little bit here. That does not mean the eye is opening up, but that could be a sign of strengthening. So we actually could be seeing slight re-intensification. If this storm rebounds, that would be insane. Not expecting any significant re-intensification, but it's still very possible.
Oh, so much.
Alright, this is Jake's hotel entrance. So it's the entrance to the same hotel that we looked at earlier with that crazy video. This is what the flooding is looking like.
Oh, so much.
That is insane. That looks like a war zone. That is what catastrophic flooding looks like. And again, that's not even close to the worst flooding that we've seen today. We've seen much worse. Let's see here. Hey, 20 likes. Thank you guys so much. Let's go. That is awesome. Wow. We have homes and businesses completely destroyed. Catastrophic damage. Wow. Well, I think we should stay here to see what this does on satellite. Again, it looks like the center of circulation is trying to reopen as this moves over land. That is incredible. That would just add to the resume that this thing has created. Again, later tonight we are expecting a second landfall on Cuba. This will likely make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 140 miles per hour and peak wind gusts of 170 miles per hour. So yeah. Dude, the latest update does not come out for another hour, which sucks. At least from the National Hurricane Center. Let's look at recon. I don't know if we have any missions. We actually do. Okay, so the latest pressure they found is 100, or excuse me, what am I saying? Looks to be around 550 millibars, which is just one reading there. Looks like they're going back into it. This hit 892 millibars, which is tied for the third lowest pressure ever by an Atlantic hurricane. Yes, that is a insane feat. But this also tied the Labor Day hurricane of I believe 1938 for the strongest landfalling hurricane in the Atlantic on record. Again, in terms of millibar pressure, they both made landfall as a 892 millibar low. Labor Day went into the Florida Keys and ended up killing 1,000 people. Is that gonna be the death toll with our Melissa? Obviously, definitely don't want to compare death tolls, but I don't know. We'll see. But they were both, I'd say, equally as catastrophic. And if anyone has any questions about their location, feel free to let me know, especially if you find yourself living in any of the Greater Antilles, most especially if you're in the path of the hurricane. Again, really want to make sure everyone is aware of the situation. Again, it does appear that Melissa is trying to reopen her eye here, so definitely not what I expected, but it's just a matter of time. You just have to play the waiting game. That would be insane, though. I don't think this is going to be accurate. You know, we're not going to use that. And this is the latest recon mission going into Melissa. They have not found a pressure of below 950 millibars yet, so again, it could be even further weakening. That would be quite significant. Yeah, Milton was not even this strong. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't want to say I knew it was going sub 900 millibars, even though I did say it was going to yesterday. I was on the phone with Davis and a couple other guys, but I personally did not expect it to get lower than Milton, which is, I mean, it's just incredible. But I remember my reaction. I was looking at recon in, I think it was history or English. But I remember I saw the flight going in, and I read 892 millibars, and I just lost it. I was like, there's no way it just did that. Like, that is just absolutely incredible. We're now at 1,535 subscribers. So thank you all so much for the support. We are 5 away from the big 1540, so if you guys could help try to make that happen, that would be awesome. And we've been live here for over an hour at this point, but okay, let me see if I can find a better Jamaica cam. Montego Bay. That's not gonna do us any good, is it? We do not have a perfectly clear eye yet, and I'm still not certain on if we're going to actually see the eye completely open up, but it's trying. It looks like it. You know, I think using Radar Omega would actually be a little bit easier with this, I just realized. Okay, we should be able to actually turn on the aircraft recon overlay with this, so that would be awesome. Alright, let's go to satellite, and we can look at Oh, you can look at Hurricane Melissa. Dude, that is awesome. Okay, clean. There we go. Alright, so now we should be able to turn on aircraft recon. Tropical weather, Hurricane Hunters, Melissa. Alright, there we go. So, again, they just investigated the center of Melissa. The pressure they're finding actually isn't too low, to be honest with you guys. So that's interesting. They're really struggling to find pressure in the 950s, so it looks like our next update from the National Hurricane Center will really put this down. I'm actually wondering if this is still a Category 4 hurricane. I would not be surprised at all if this is, yeah, this is most likely now a Category 3 hurricane, which is great news for our folks in Cuba. So we're still expecting a Category 4 landfall. That could change. Very well could. What's up, Justin? Good to see you. 2025 is the first year with since 2005 with more than one sub 920 millibar hurricanes. Well, it's also the first year since 2005 where we saw 3+ Category 5 hurricanes in the same year. going, dude. Trying to clear out. Pretty incredible what the storm has been doing. That is still a beautiful satellite imagery right there. Okay, we do actually have a burst of convection developing. Again, it's so interesting to see this unfolding. It's trying to re-strengthen. You can see as soon as the eye passed over land in that short amount of time, the amount of convection slightly went down. Look, as soon as the eye passes over water, after it goes over land, as soon as it gets back over the water, boom, you get a plume of convection with cloud tops of negative 80 degrees. That is a signature of possible strengthening. So will it continue to intensify? It's possible. That makes me more intrigued in what the National Hurricane Center thinks about it, which obviously we'll be able to see in their next update, which should come out in about an hour from now. Yes, the next update will actually come out, I believe, an hour from now. Another thing that I do want to note is that they don't usually do this, but they, instead of doing the 3-hour increments for their updates, they actually went hour by hour because of how dangerous the storm was. So that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, this could genuinely be a re-strengthening process. Again, we just got a Hurricane Hunters mission to go into the storm. They found even weaker winds and lower and higher pressure than what we had before. So technically, it's actually weakening. But on satellite, the presentation looks much more like it's strengthening, if anything here. So, interesting stuff, and definitely something we need to keep an eye on. Alright, I'm going to leave up the satellite. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go use the restroom. So I'll be back with you guys in like 30 seconds. Alright, chat, we're back. Apologize for the delay here. In 1950, there was a hurricane named Hurricane Item. Interesting. Yeah, they had some weird names in the early days. So records began, I believe, in the 1850s, and they began naming storms like the Labor Day hurricane in the early 1900s. And then by the mid 1900s, they started using actual names. Although the item and how, I don't. That's a little weird. So yeah, we're not going to get another update for another hour. Meanwhile, we have a severe weather event going on. But we're doing hurricane coverage. Okay, let me see if I can find a camera on YouTube. I haven't looked out there in a while. Camera. Let's see what we're looking at. Montego Bay. Okay, this is a view from northern Jamaica. You can see this is what they are dealing with right now. You're still talking about very significant beyond hurricane force wind gusts, so this is still an incredibly dangerous hurricane. Get rid of this chat here. Look at those winds, guys. That is still very significant. Again, you're still talking about wind gusts well over 100 miles per hour. Oh gosh, I didn't realize I was making a recording. That's incredible. Look at that, man. That is insane. This is where we have, this is right around where Melissa is located. Again, still talking about extremely dangerous wind gusts here. So yeah, that is crazy. Alright. Let me see if I can put that into the stream here. Alright, perfect. What's up, Ryan saying? Did you see the damage it caused? Yeah, it's very bad. Strong hurricane force winds, tropical storm force strength winds are continuing, yes. Anywhere inside of really, I would say this, black or even these gray shades, this is where we're likely still seeing those hurricane force winds. Storm is still popping off out here, dude. So we'll see how this continues. Again, will that eye try to open up? We'll see. I think the scariest thing was I don't know if you guys saw the videos of where we actually got like the 200-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but there was a video where it genuinely feels like there's 100 people just screaming at the top of their lungs. Like, it is downright, like, it is terrifying. You can't see, it's whiteout conditions, but the sound is just like it makes it really look like hell on earth. So the advanced DVORA technique, and I don't know how to pronounce that, which is also the ADT satellite, derived intensity estimate, peaked at 185 knots for Melissa, which according to developer at CIMSS, it is the highest value to date for any tropical cyclone. So those are satellite estimated wind gusts, or wind speeds, sustained. So let me see, 185 knots to miles per hour. That would be approximately 212 miles per hour. So there's a chance that the storm peaked at 210 miles per hour. The sustained winds. Again, it looks like it's very possible that our wind speeds got up to 200 miles per hour. Again, our sustained winds. Alright, let me show you guys this. This is catastrophic damage and flooding ongoing in Treasure Beach, which looks like the hardest hit area. Again, that is all rainwater that shouldn't be there. This is catastrophic damage. This is all wind debris that was pushed downstream by this river of water. That is catastrophic flooding. That's just terrible stuff. Alright, we'll pull it up. This is the video I was talking about earlier of the wind sounding like people are screaming. This is the most terrifying sound I've ever heard produced by something that's related to the weather. Listen to this. That is unbelievable. That is just crazy. Excuse me. Devastating. It was the eastern side that was spared major damage. Excuse me. Again. Yes, where the eyewall came ashore, it was devastating. And that would be in western Jamaica. What's up, Tashin Gaming Channel? Thank you for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's check back in our sub count. Still sitting at 1535, so if we could get up to the big 1540, that would be awesome. Again, it's all thanks to you guys. But also, be sure to consider donating to the PayPal, as I'm trying to raise enough money to support my National Storm Chaser Summit Fund. I went last year. Had a great time. Hoping to return this year. But again, gotta take care of all the costs and stuff. It's a very costly trip. So with your guys' help, we can make that happen. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys could help me out with that. Yes, that sound was incredibly creepy. At some point I will have to go though. I gotta eat dinner, do homework, so don't want to stay here too long. But I just want to make sure we can cover whatever needs to be covered, you know. So if anyone has any final questions about their location, feel free to let me know, but I think we'll start to wrap things up. We've been live for an hour and 27 minutes, so I think a couple more minutes, once we get to an hour and a half, we should be good to go. So yeah. Alright. So in about a half hour from now, the next National Hurricane Center forecast will come out. And they will... oh, we just got it, actually. Here we go. So this is the latest 7:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time update. Came out 4 minutes ago. Center Melissa is emerging from the northern coast of western Jamaica. Damaging winds. Catastrophic flash flooding and life-threatening storm surge continues in Jamaica. They still have this as a Category 4 hurricane. That might be old information. I don't know if they have updated that yet. I think they just released the latest advisory here. This still says, as of 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, maximum sustained winds at 145 miles per hour, pressure at 921 millibars. I do believe that the new information just needs to load in here, because that would be an incorrect position. Alright. So I think with that, we're going to be able to end things off here. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button, so we can get this channel to as many subscribers as we can, and that we can get this channel and this live stream especially to as many people as possible, so we can really spread the word on what is going on. Alright, so that should be it. So thank you all for coming to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next